Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Scoop on K-State, a show featuring leaders of Kansas State University and our efforts to become a next-gen land-grant university. It's such an exciting time for K-State as we continue to progress and meet the goals established by our updated campus master plan. Today, I'm pleased to welcome Ethan Erickson, Vice President of Administration and Finance, and Casey Lauer, Associate Vice President for Facilities, to share more about the plan and nearly two-year process of planning and study that created this map for the future that was unanimously approved by the Kansas Board of Regents on September 17th. Thank you, Ethan, Casey, for joining us today.
It's good to be here.
Yeah, I'll say this is a first. We've never had two guests on at once.
Oh.
So this is a big day.
We're looking forward to it. Yeah.
Should be great.
It's an awesome plan.
Yep. So really wanted to extend, first off, our appreciation. I know it took a lot of work on this master plan. And I know early on you included the alumni voice, which was very important. So thank you for doing that. I know we got a lot of responses, talk about campus and the flow, what's important. We'll talk more about that. But it's a very ambitious, visionary view of the campus for not only Manhattan and Salina, but Olathe as well, and how it's going to evolve maybe over the next 10 or 15 years or so. So I want to take a moment to share kind of the process and how it evolved.
Yeah, so we started probably in the summer of 2023.
Yep. Just
trying to outline what our high-level achieves were for the plan. And so we actually kicked off, I think it was in March of 24. And really we engaged a lot of folks. I think you attended our very first open house at the Union. And so when I say a lot of folks, thousands and thousands, literally about 10 to 12,000 input points from K-Staters, faculty, staff, students, the community, et cetera, across all of our campuses. So
we had a lot of great workshops, I know, that we did in the Alumni Center and campus. So
yeah, and I mean, big thanks to Smith Group, our consultant. They reference our engagement efforts as the gold standard in the industry, and that says a lot. They've been in this business for about 25 years, so we're proud of our efforts.
What did you gather during those early work groups? What was some feedback you kind of received?
Yeah, so if I had to sort of boil the themes down, it was to really activate our green spaces in a different way. And this is all across all three of our campuses. Not necessarily to build buildings, but to activate them for different, be able to use them differently. But you'll hear me talk maybe a little bit later. Also incorporate some K-State themed public art to strengthen our identity. So that's pretty special.
The other resounding feedback that we heard was about how are we preserving our heritage. It's so important to us as K-Staters, some of those iconic buildings that we have in place, Anderson Hall, Ahern. Yep. And so we heard a lot of feedback from our constituents about let's take care of our historic spaces.
So let's touch on that. The plan's extensive and talks about revitalizing the heart of the university, several facility renovation projects. You talk about the historical, cultural aspect and significance, preserving that legacy. Maybe share a bit about that aspect of the plan, since you touched on it.
Yeah, well, the plan really, we've never thought about campus in this way before, but it develops 7 different districts across campus. And so I think what you're referring to maybe, at least on the Manhattan campus, is that academic core. And if you think about that sort of that nucleus of our campus, we have renovated a lot of buildings in the last 3 to 5 years. So Hale Library, portions of the Union, a big portion of Seton Hall. We just are wrapping up a project at Eisenhower, but there are several more either in planning or that we aspire to in the near future. Kedzie one, the Holtz Hall, and then I think Ethan can provide some more color around Anderson and also Ahern, the 2 signature projects.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about that. And let's talk about, you mentioned Kedzie and some other things.
Yeah.
Maybe talk about student success, so growing initiatives with health and well-being. How's the plan provide a more connected, student-centered campus environment?
That's a big question. So there are a number of ways. And if I think about connectivity, we're thinking about utilizing our creek in a different way.
Many people may not realize we have a creek. Right?
I know, yeah. I think it's something we've kind of worked around and minimized over the history of the university. Yeah. So opportunity to really embrace it and think about differently.
Yeah, so utilizing that green space, if you will, that really connects Aggieville all the way up to the Edge District in a different way, and then leverage amenities, throughout the way, and some new signature facilities, a gardens expansion, and you may think of, gosh, that's a long way to travel, but even if you're in the Derby complex, it's 0.8 of a mile to get to a college game day using that system.
I thought that was incredible that you guys made that point that from residence halls in that Derby complex to the Bill Snyder Family Stadium's less than a mile.
That's right.
And making that more green, connecting the campus, I really like that aspect. That's going to be, I think, well received.
We're excited about that.
What else about maybe the health and well-being? You talked about KEDSI, maybe some plans for those areas.
So we do have the one of the components, the student-centered aspect of the plan is really thinking about it in three components, sort of an academic one-stop, an administrative one-stop, and then the health and well-being one-stop. And so thinking about how do we combine some of our health and wellness activities that we have with LaFine, our counseling services, also some of the academic and research-related counseling services, bringing those all together into one location so that you have that one place that students can go to for their health and well-being. And the vision in the master plan really is taking that Campus Creek complex and re-envisioning it and renovating it or rebuilding it in a way that it creates that one-stop for our students and our faculty and our staff.
Much more synergy.
Yep, more synergy in that
located.
space. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're excited about that.
Yeah, I think also too, not to take away from the concept of a wellness facility, but you think about well-being in terms of safety too. So we got a lot of feedback through the process about trying to increase safety with pedestrians and vehicles. And so this plan also calls for, over time, eventually the pedestrianization of 5 current roadways to create that stronger sense of place and really to create a safer campus. And I think that's necessary. I mean, when we hit our goals of 25,000 students, that we're retaining longer, we're going to have to really focus in on safety for our students as well.
Yeah. And I know, we talked about the student experience. President Linton, the university's committed to enhancing that experience, and it's essential, but also research. So maybe talk about the research, innovation and aspect of this.
Yeah, so there are some signature facilities that are either being planned or that we aspire to in the near term, such as the new Kansas Vet Diagnostics Lab, which is soon to be in design and in construction in the next 12 to 18 months. This plan also hammers out a couple of research-specific projects like refurbishments to our nuclear reactor. Things like edge tech, so that we can leverage the strength that we have in technology and engineering. So those things really speak to who we are in terms of our portfolio and our aspirations as a land grant, but also an R1's institution. Mm-hmm. If you look at our space profile, though, we're 200,000 square feet short to meet our goals of Next Gen Land Grant. And so to really kind of put that in perspective, the most modern research building that we have on our campus was built in 2002. So that's 23 years ago. A lot's changed and a lot will change by the time we get to where we're going. And so this plan really responds to that in a way to answer that where are we going as an interdisciplinary research institution? And then how do we leverage that moving forward to maybe commercialize some of those things and to bring to market some of the the solutions that we can respond to with our faculty and with our research staff.
Yeah, and I think it's also key to point out about being great stewards of state funding, and maybe talk a little bit about how we're also taking care of deferred maintenance and that such. I think that's also important. We're creating more efficiencies as well.
We are, and actually, thanks for bringing that up, because we really do appreciate the additional funding that we've received from the legislature the last several years. We've been able to leverage those dollars in a way that we've eliminated $128 million of deferred maintenance off the books. And so it's phenomenal progress that we've been making on that. And kudos to Casey and his facilities team to really complete a lot of renovation and demolition projects across campus. The legislature also authorized funding for a multi-year funding stream called the Kansas Campus Restoration Act. And so we've been able to leverage those dollars to bring those into play, align them with the goals and the guiding principles from the master plan. But we also are thinking about them in ways of how are we taking those dollars and doing renovations that advance us either in our research efforts or how are we improving upon the student experience. And so we were thinking about those dollars and leveraging them that way to advance the master plan, advance the Next Gen strategic plan as well. Those are actually the dollars that we're going to, portion of those dollars are slotted for Anderson Hall, the exterior renovation of Anderson Hall. I think I don't know that it's ever been holistically renovated in its entire lifetime, and you can kind of tell that.
Yeah.
It's looking a little tired, and so the Board of Regents just approved our plan for utilizing about $21 million of the Restoration Act to be matched philanthropically on a one-to-one basis. So about a $42 million total project is what we have planned to do a complete exterior renovation, replace all the windows, all the pieces that are needed to really seal that envelope and preserve it, and preserve our heritage.
Yeah, and there may be some other renovations down the line, but taking care of that external look of Anderson Hall is important.
That sets us up for the future renovations that would take place on the interior.
Yeah. So, I mean, those are kind of the key aspects, right? Anderson Hall, I don't know, maybe you want to touch anything else on Anderson and the surrounding corridor that leads to Ahern. I know that's another big aspect that alums and others want to know more about. So maybe talk about how that's going to look.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you think about a restored Anderson exterior, the plan, through a lot of different input points, including what we heard back from our constituents, was to connect the lawn more fully with the building. So the big green space that's on the east side of Anderson, to make that feel like an extension of the building. Right now there's a road there and some hedge and some parking stalls, but to really have that be more of a social plaza then that can wrap the building. And then you've got a direct plane across Bosco Plaza that aligns almost centrally with the entrance to Ahern Fieldhouse. So the plan calls for a revitalized Bosco. A lot of barriers eliminated there. Really creates
free-flowing,
that's
pedestrian,
right. That's right.
spot.
Open, accessible,
inviting.
A new front door almost for our visitors, prospective students, and really all Wildcats. And if you look at portions of the plan, you can see that sense of place is also sort of accentuated by that pedestrianization, not only in front of Anderson, but also then in front of Ahern on Martin Luther King Boulevard as well.
Yeah. Let's talk about Ahern. What's the plans for Ahern?
It's an exciting vision, turning it into an event center, but still preserving some of that opportunity for, history and the athletics events that took place there. So really converting it to a convention center type setting. Multi-purpose. Yep. We could also have classrooms in the round. I mean, you have a real opportunity, it still has the opportunity that you could fit a full basketball court in there if you leverage it in the right way.
That's what I was going to ask. Could we fit a basketball court in there one day?
Yep, you could do it.
So we're still keeping that open.
That's exactly right. Yeah, but it's an exciting opportunity.
We want to have a rec league basketball, right?
Sure.
Or game during the noontime hour.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That used to happen way back in the day. Talk about timeline. What are we looking like in terms of timeline for this master plan and some of these aspects?
Yeah, so the plan's, minimum 10 to 15 years. And it's, when you do the math on that, makes you feel a little bit older when you think that the plan's probably going to last until about 2040. But we already started. Mm-hmm. I think that you heard Ethan mention the Restoration Act set of projects. Wildcat One Stop is also sort of part of those that series of projects too. That enrollment One Stop. But we're already started, and so that's the exciting thing. We're not waiting around, and there's a lot to accomplish, and we're heading down that path already.
Yeah, I know Bilberry's opening, which is exciting. Ag Innovation Project is on time, and then I think you got an inside scoop on Call Hall. So what's the timeline when Call Hall's opening? What do we think? Best estimated guess.
Man, on the air, this is
I'm
a little pressure here.
I know, I'm putting you on the spot.
I told him I wouldn't make any bets here.
When can we get our ice cream?
So I can tell you this. How about this? Global Center will open for fall of 26 classes.
Okay.
We anticipate that when you say Call Hall, really the dairy is getting a complete overhaul. The dairy will open either with that or shortly thereafter.
Okay.
That's our hope. So yeah,
we're
still seeing 26.
Fall of 26.
That's right. Yeah.
All right. Give you a little bit of leeway there.
We need some ice cream.
I know. People. I mean, we're about to run out. Yeah. It's important. So, anything else you guys like to share about the plan, the vision, maybe how alums can get involved and such?
Yeah, maybe just a few things. I talk about the safety of all Wildcats, right? And some of that's due to our increased enrollment, which we're celebrating. We also know that also it's harder to get around campus. It's harder to find a parking place, and it doesn't fall deaf on us. We are doing things now to explore what that looks like into the future. Later this fall, we'll engage the students into, should we investigate a university transit system more fully, things of that nature. You mentioned stewardship a little bit earlier with deferred maintenance. We're also looking at our space in different ways, and we started a space pilot so that we can in real time understand how our spaces are being utilized, and hope to bring some of that data forward to help make transparent decisions into the future.
So tell us more. How can K-Staters be more involved?
I think just continuing to show up. This plan is one that'll be a living plan, in that we will keep updated at a minimum every 3 years. I mentioned a transit survey. I think just providing unsolicited feedback so that we can develop campus in the best way possible is going to be important. So the Bilby recently opened. I have my 9-year-old there, and just exposing youngsters to what we offer as a university, I think she's going to be hooked for life from now.
Yeah, we're really excited about where this is headed in the future. Appreciate all your work and what you've done on this so far. So
yeah,
thanks for sharing the scoop on the master plan. Now we're going to share a scoop of ice cream.
All right.
And I took the liberty of not having you select, so we've got vanilla and chocolate that
awesome.
We can enjoy.
Thanks, Adam.
So
awesome.
It should be great. So
Thank you.
Looking forward to the future. I know it's really exciting. We're excited to see where this heads and kind of see the progress of this in the future. So Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
That wraps up another episode of The Scoop on K-State. I'm Adam Walker, President and CEO of the K-State Alumni Association, and I want to thank you for watching or listening to our show. Until next time, be sure to share this podcast with other K-Staters. Select that follow button on your podcast app so you'll never miss another episode. On behalf of the K-State Alumni Association staff, we're proud to be #1 in the Big 12 in terms of membership, and we value your ongoing support and membership. If you're not currently a member, please consider joining. And of course, go Cats.